show, and I am so happy that you are here and going to join in and make some comments. If this is your first time watching me, I'm Joanne Rogers. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Central Alberta, Canada, and I've been designing with you in mind since 1999. Today we're going to make a really cute little Valentine's treat holder, but I've got an example at the end of the show that I want to show you, made for Easter too. So it's a project that I saw Rhonda Wade made, and I took it and I tweaked it just a little bit and made it a different size so that it's a little bit cuter. I think it's cute, but it's just a tiny bit cuter. So as you come on, please let me know where you are watching from. I'm always excited to see the reach that we have and how many people we have that are coming on. I'm also going to try and keep an eye on those comments once we get going so that I can respond to them. And if I don't respond right away, I do go back and I do look at them. So if you have a question about anything, please be sure to put it into the comments, whether you're watching it live or watching the replay, and I will reply, okay? So I just have one thing that I want to tell you, and we had our Paper Party Birthday Edition retreat this past weekend in Red Deer, and it was an event that you could do in person or a to-go option. So the in-person, we had a super fun time. I had too many projects. I had to send people home with their projects. Just one project though. We did manage to get through all of them. We had a wonderful potluck. We had lots of laughs and lots of learning and inspiration. And it was just a fun day for everybody, me included. And then I got all the to-go packets out yesterday. So if you are one of those folks who had a to-go package, be sure and keep an eye out in your mail, probably about Thursday, because they should be headed your way anytime now. Now, if you didn't get in on that and you would still like to get in on that, I have the PDF available. So I'm going to point you down, and I'm also going to just give you a real sneak peek of what all the projects were. But first of all, I'll point you down so you can see the the flyer, I guess. So hold on just a sec. Let me get you set up here. Go all the way down. Can everybody see that there? Let me maybe give me just a thumbs up if that's okay for you to be able to see. I think that that might be a little better. I had a bit of a challenge last week in that we didn't get really close. So I'm going to try and, well, no, we got too close actually. So let me try and bring that in just a little bit. So it was a nice break. This was all about birthdays. So you could get yourself set up with all of the birthdays that you need to make for the rest of the year with these projects. Change them up using your own stamps if you don't have these ones. That's what's great about having a PDF. There were 14 projects, but there was 2 of 1 design. So really there's a baker's dozen of projects. So lucky 13, there's 13 projects. And I'm going to just show you really what they look like live. So hold on, I don't want to drop this as I bring it in here. So here they are. So I had it on a little thing, and there just wasn't enough room. So we did a bunch of different things. We did all kinds of stuff with designer papers. We played with punches and dies and like the fancy fun folds. We did those. We did watercoloring. We did a whack of stuff. And so everything, all of that is in this PDF, and the PDF is electronic. So as soon as you register, and it's $32 Canadian, as soon as you register, that day, I will send you a link so that you can access them all. And you just start crafting away and just have a ball. And we're using lots of nice bright colors here. There's guy things, there's little kid things, there's lady things, there's something for everybody. So where do you want to do that? Where do you want to find out more information? Is you want to go right here to designwithjo.ca/PPB Day PDF. And that will allow you just to click on the button and go ahead through PayPal, and I will send you the PDF so that you have them. Okay, so what do we want to work on today? Today we are making a cute little box, and we're going to be using some of the Country Lane Designer Series paper. And this Country Lane paper is got some different colors in it. So it has Sweet Sorbet as our red, which is a slightly different red than real red. It almost has a tiny bit more pink or orange in it, I guess I could say. And this paper here is great. It goes with a punch. The punch is currently not available, but you don't need the punch because you can cut these out. I didn't actually purchase the punch. I just got the paper. I didn't get the stamp set that goes along with it. So these are all of the papers that are in this set. So if you at all have a little bit of a French kind of vibe going on, the bikes are perfect. Little tiny hearts, decorative hearts that you can certainly cut out and use on a card. This has been, I think this was the first piece I used, this one with the balmy blue and little hearts, different sized hearts. Then we have some flowers. So we have flowers with our petal pink and our Sweet Sorbet and green. So if you like to have a more deep color for Valentine's, and it doesn't have to be Valentine's, for spring, this is great. And then when you turn them over, what do you have? A whole bunch of different patterns. And that's one thing that's just great about our designer paper, is that you have lots of patterns that are small enough to use. And then on the other side, you have bigger, bolder sort of impressions. So we're going to be using this one right here today. We're going to be using a Sweet Sorbet, and we're also going to be using a bit of our balmy blue. So that again is the Country Lane Floral paper. We are going to start though with our little adorable owl. So I have an adorable owl here, and this is a free stamp set from Celebration. And many of you already have this, I know, because it is so cute. Great for birthdays. We used it for a little birthday tag on the weekend, but today we're going to use it for Valentine's. And I've used the Hoot Hoot You're So Cute for Valentine's, but I'm going to pull in today a different one from the Love Cats set. So the Love Cats set is another set in our mini catalog, and this one actually says, "Hi there, Valentine." So I'm pulling in that one, and I've already stamped this little professor owl with the little bow tie. Do you think he looks like a professor? Let me know. I can see a few folks seeing their comments. Roz, Leanne, Carolyn, Joan, thank you for coming, ladies. Pat and Carlos and Judy, all of you guys, thank you very much. Be sure to let your friends know about our live crafting. Now we are going to color this guy. Now, is it a guy? What is your impression? Is this a guy or is it a gal? Because I'm not 100% sure. So we are going to color her, let's say, with, we're going to do some balmy blue. We're going to use maybe a little bit of Sweet Sorbet. I just pulled it in just in case. And then we're going to go with a variety of browns. So I have, this is our crumb cake here, light and dark. Let me pull in everything here. And then I also have our gray granite. So we're going to give our owl a little bit of just different, a little variety, I guess. And this is petal pink here. Petal pink and light petal pink and, oh, and pumpkin pie. So let's do that first. Let's color her nose first. And so if you have never used blends before, they are a wonderful tool for adding really bright and intense color to your designs. And I could have pre-colored this, but I want to show you a little bit how to color with the blends, because I think sometimes people get a little bit intimidated. So there are two ends. There is a bullet tip end here, and there is a brush tip end. And I have to be honest, when I first started using these, I tended to use the brush tip end a lot more. Now I use the bullet tip end. And why I do that is that they're a little bit more resilient. So the brush tip can easily, especially in classes, they can easily be frayed and bent. And so the bullet tip is going to give you a little bit more options, I guess. If you are heavy-handed at all, then you want to use that bullet tip. Guy with the bow tie? Well, I guess, yeah, he might be, eh, Leanne? So I'm going to use the dark first, and then you don't have to use the dark. I've gone back and forth. Sometimes I use the light first, sometimes I use the dark, but we're going to go ahead and use the dark, and I'm going to put the dark where I think there's going to be some shadowing. And so with the Stampin' Blends, you can't color too much before you have to go into your lighter version. So I'm just going to give some of the details there. And then I'm going to come in, I'm going to color right over top. And when you color over top, you move that ink. So I'm moving that ink, and what I'm going to be left with is some darker shadowy areas. And then I'm also going to have some lighter areas. So it's going to immediately give a little bit more realistic kind of look to our he owl, I guess. Leanne's probably right with a bow tie. I think it is a he. So now I'm just dotting on, giving a little bit more of my color. And you can do this a few times. I wouldn't go over and over and over again because you can pill your paper. Now, a type of ink that you want to use for this, you want to use Memento Black. Memento Black is your friend here. StazOn is not your friend if you happen to have a StazOn ink pad, because StazOn is made with alcohol in it. And these are alcohol markers. So they will actually just move that. If you stamped it in black and it stays on, and then use these markers over top, they would just move that black ink, and then you'd be left with a little bit of a mess. So I'm using two sort of types of strokes as I'm coloring. I'm using those line strokes, and I'm using round sort of circular strokes. I like using circular because I think that it blends out the color a little bit nicer. I really like a blended color. So you can sort of see how there's darker around the edges here. We're going to go in with just, I think he's going to have, instead of a lighter tummy, we're going to give him a darker tummy. So this color is one of the dark ones, SU300, and they come in packages of 2. And so this one, I can't even tell you which one this is, if this is the medium or if this is something else. So I'm going to pull that out using the darker of the crumb cake. And I'm just lightly pulling it out. And what I should be left with is a little bit of darker around the outside edges. And if I don't, I'm just going to go back in and add a little bit more, just so that it darkens up a little bit. Okay. So that's that part. Now around here, I don't know, I think I might just leave this white. What do you think? I'm going to go now and give him a blue bow tie. So he's going to have a balmy blue bow tie. This is the dark and this is the light. You don't have to put your lids on if you're going back and forth between your colors, if it's not a big area that you're coloring. If you're coloring a larger area, I would put your lid back on, just because it protects the ink and it doesn't dry out then. I'm thinking about this. I'm not too sure if I'm going to color him in or not. We're going to give balmy blue eyes as well. So you have total control over this, right? You could have a purple owl if you wanted. We had a blue owl on the weekend, one of our folks. And I think I am going to leave that white. And I'm going to use my Wink of Stella right over top here. So we're going to have a little bit of something different, a little bit of glimmer and shimmer there. So this is new. I hadn't planned on doing this. I'm sort of going by the seat of my pants here. How many of you do that all the time? And I'm just going to use, I almost pulled out the brush, a tiny little bit of petal pink here in the inside of the ears. Okay, so that's our little guy. We're going to cut him out now. I'm going to get rid of all of those blends. So you don't need a huge number of blends. I do have them all. I love them. They are my favorite coloring tool. For once you've sort of got the hang of them, they are wonderful. Some people say they have a really difficult time. Stick with it. If you've purchased some and you really don't like how they look, take some of my, do some of the classes that I have and take a look at the free tutorials on how to color, because once you do get the hang of them, you will love them. I guarantee it. I guarantee. And so if you purchase one or two, if you really cannot stand them, I will buy them back from you. Really, I will, because I don't think you can go wrong with these. Who all here is a person who loves using your alcohol markers? And did it take you a little bit of time to actually get going with them? So there we go. We've cut him out. We're going to save that and use it for words. I'm going to pull in the, see, here he is. He is really, really sweet. I'm going to pull in some sweet sorbet, and we're going to stamp that "Hi there, Valentine" in sweet sorbet. Now, if you have a problem pulling here, because normally I have to put my nail in, just give it a little push with your other hand at this end here, and then just pull it out after that. Just a tip for you. Okay, we are going to punch this out with the Label Me Fancy. Hopefully I didn't put that too far in the middle. I still want it to be straight. Now, I have a piece that is a little bit too small here. Pat loves the blends on tiny images. So here's a trick for you, and it's a trick that probably lots of you have seen, but what you really want to do is we're creating a little handle with that Post-it note. And then if we have a piece of paper that's just too small because you lose it in there and you can't get it quite centered on the punch, then it allows you to hold it and move it around. You don't have to actually hold that piece of white paper itself. So that's not quite in the center, I don't think. There we go. So we're going to take that guy there, and you can always reuse that punch even though I've got it, I cut it out a little bit too. Okay, so there's our Hi Valentine. We're going to put that aside so I don't get it all inky. Now we're going to do the bottom part of the actual container or the treat holder itself. So what you need is a piece of 4.5 by 5 3/8 cardstock. So it's 4.5 this way, 5 3/8 this way, and you are going to score it on all 4 sides at 1 1/4. So you could do this one of 2 ways. You can go to 1 1/4 out here. I'm hoping that you can see that. So there is a 1 1/4 all the way out here, or there is 1 1/4 on the inside. And I'm today going to use the one on the inside. Make sure you have your cutting blade out of the way. It looks like I need to write on it again. Your cutting blade is the darker one. You're going to pull that out of the way, and you're going to use the tan colored blade, which is your scoring blade. So 1 1/4. You don't have to press too hard, and you're still going to get a good line in there that's going to give you a good burnish. Now you're going to take this and you're going to move it 180 degrees. Do it again. Do it one more time so that you go all the way around your little rectangle. So these were a little different measurements, and I liked this for the size that we create, and I think you might too. So what I do is I actually cut on this. You can cut on either end, but what you want to do is you want to be consistent. So if you decide that you're going to cut on the side, then cut both sides. If you decide you're going to cut on the end, then cut both ends. So I'm going to cut on the side, and I'm going to create a wedge as well. So I go up on the score line to the score line, and then my wedge is going into the flap for this one. And I like to cut after, I like to cut before I fold up on those score lines. For me, it's just a lot easier when it's nice and straight. So just get all those little guys out of the way. And now we're going to fold all of our lines. Pull in your bone folder and just really crease that up so that you have a really nice crisp crease. Go all the way around. Here's our last one. So now we're going to use our Stampin' Seal Plus. And Stampin' Seal Plus is a little bit different than the Stampin' Seal. It comes out a lot easier, and we are going to put it onto our tabs. So I'm just turning this upside down really from the way that my folds are, and we're just going to put it on the tabs. So how the Seal Plus works is that it's almost like there's tiny little breaks in between, and so I'm hoping that you can see that. It comes out a little bit easier than the Seal, so if you have challenge, you've bought a seal and you think, oh, I cannot get this thing to run, then you might want to replace it when it comes time to replace with a Seal Plus cartridge. It might just be a little easier for you. So now what we want to do, we want to pull these two tabs on the end in, and we want to line up the sides. So I'm going to line up the sides so that they're nice and straight. I can do both sides here, and it will stick really well with this Seal Plus and go all the way around with it so that you create a little box. And your box is going to be the base of our little tiny mailbox. For the next part, what you want to do is you're going to use the deckled rectangles, or you can use just a rectangle cut from Designer Series paper. And for the size of box that I am making, I use the 3rd size down. And I didn't write what size that was, so let's just measure it here. Well, let's measure it here. It's a little easier. It is, 2 7/8. You can hardly see because of that old masking tape, by 4 3/8. So 2 7/8 by 4 3/8. And we are going to curve this a little bit with our bone folder. So take your bone folder. I can put this stuff away now, clear up just a little bit here. Take your bone folder and just run it lightly right on the paper, so from on the long edge. So the long edge is going to be folded just a little bit, not folded, curled, just a little bit, really curved, not curled. Same thing with the other one. Okay, just lightly so that you're not going to get a crease. Now I'm going to use my liquid glue for the next part. So my liquid glue is going to go all the way on the sides of the box. And we're going to take our paper. Now I've decided to take my paper so that the hearts are going the same way on both sides. Meaning that if I look from the side afterwards, my heart, the top of my heart is facing up. You'll see what that does here in a minute, because if this one is facing up, these are going to go over top. So one of them is not going to be facing up by the time it's done. So even though I said I was just going to do that, maybe what I should do this time is go like this, and then we'll have our hearts going the same way. I think so. So if you have any type of paper, let's say you're not making this for Valentine's, you're making it for something else, and they are directional, meaning that they best go one way or the other, then this is what you might want to do. Put one so that it's upside down. I'll show you the versions afterwards. So now what I have is I'm going to pull this over like this, and this one is going to go like that. And we have our little mailbox. Remember, who has a mailbox still like this? You know, with the little thing that you went up and down, little marker, I guess. So what I do to put this together, if I have to find it, is just a smaller Velcro dot. And I think I just got these at the dollar store. You can certainly get them on Amazon in all different sizes. You can also use a magnet if you want, one of those very small magnets. But these are just so easy to put on. So in order to do it, all you do, and these come so that they're already together. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one you start with first. So you take off one of the backings, stick it to yourself, and then I want this to catch somewhere over here. So I'm going to put it right there on my paper. Okay, so I've got it right there on my paper. Now I'm going to fold that over again, and I'm going to take off the other backing. Easier said than done. And I'm going to fold that over as well. Line it up so that the edges are aligned here. Fold it over. Okay, now that's going to stay there, and people are going to be able to open and close it. But what we want to do is we want to catch that edge so that it's not stuck up. A stuck up edge. So let me grab some of my dimensionals. Looks like I need some new dimensionals. And grab some here, brand new pack. I'm almost out. There we go. Oops, they're on the floor now. So my Hi There Valentine is going to go, now you want to be careful you don't put your dimensionals up near the top. You want to put your dimensionals down near the bottom, and you do want dimensionals here because you want it to sort of stick out a little bit from the bottom of the paper. So we're going to put that on. All right. And we want it to catch, so put that on right about there. And it will catch it, but we're going to catch it even more when we put on our little owl. So we want to decorate the owl up just a little bit. Well, the background of the owl. So we're going to use our heart punches. We're going to use glimmer paper for the background of it, and the in color glimmer paper comes in lots of wonderful colors, but we are going to use the sweet sorbet. I have used the blues and the greens, and it doesn't necessarily need to be with the color that this is. So this is Tahitian Tide. This looks great with balmy blue, for instance. This looks great with lots of different greens and red as well. So today we are going to use a nice big piece for this. But first of all, I've lost my piece of blue. Let me find it. Okay, it's gone. Well, let me find it here. Another piece. Here it is. Okay, so I already have one cut out, but I'm going to cut out, instead of the one that has scallops, I'm going to cut this one out here. Now I'm going to try and save as much as I can here. So I'm going to go right up to that and right down to the bottom. We're going to use that guy, and then we're going to use the bigger one, and we're going to do that. I think we're going to do it with the lighter side so that it stands out a little bit on the sweet sorbet. Again, try and use up the least amount of paper and have the least amount of waste. We're going to glue this down with our liquid glue. And I like to use liquid glue here because this is a rough surface. The glimmer paper is a rough surface. It goes. We're going to just let that set up for just a minute. And then I'm going to also give it a little bit of a curve. I can do that with my fingers too, because it's going to sit on this part of the mailbox or the box. So I want that to curve just a little bit. I could go in and do this. Okay, so we're going to glue that down like this. Our little guy is going to go on like this. We're going to glue with liquid glue again. You could use dimensionals here if you wanted. I'm going to put my heart off to the side instead of straight up and down. And you want to just let that set for a moment. You could use your Seal Plus here as well. I just like the ability to be able to move in case I didn't put my heart in quite the right place. I still have, you can see I've still got a little bit of time that I can move it. So I just like having that because I make lots of mistakes. I put lots of things in the wrong places. I'm going to take the pop dot or the Velcro a little bit. And I think maybe we'll put him on with dimensionals too. I'm only going to put the dimensionals on the middle part of his body. Just so that he can move and have some movement with the movement of the box. I can get one more in there. And we'll see how that looks. Okay, so that down here. We're going to put him, well, I guess we should put him straight. Okay, so there he is. And I'm going to pop that in just a minute. I do have a couple other little hearts. I have some baby hearts here. I have ones that I cut out. These were cut with the Warm Welcome bundle. And I think I want one just on there, Hi There Valentine. So we're just going to go for a little one there. So just a little dot of glue here. Use my Take Your Pick tool. Get that out of the way. And pick that up. I try and clean as I go, then it's not quite so bad when I'm done. Okay, put that on there. Let that sit for just a minute. And I think, do I want some ribbon? Yeah, what the heck. Let's put some ribbon on there. So this is just our white ribbon. I'm going to make a double bow with it. So I'm taking it and doubling it up before I make my bow. And then I can use my bow tool, or I can just try and work my way through it here. And I like a little bit of extra ribbon as I'm doing this. I could have made this red as well, but I think maybe I'm happy with it just white, and it'll show up better against the red. Pull in my, so I did waste a little bit there, and I don't like normally doing that, but let's cut it all off and we'll see how much I have to cut. And I think maybe we will put this over on this side with a glue dot. And there's, you know, there are so many different ways that you could decorate this up, and you can see which one you like the best. So let's put that right there, so it doesn't interfere with our owl too much. Let me just tighten that up just a bit. Yeah, those definitely need to come. So I'm going to keep these pieces for something else, because I really don't like to use up that much. And this I'm going to tuck in behind there. So I should be able to tuck that in. Yep, just fine. Okay, so he needs to go inside. Well, not until we put something in there. We want to put in, so I just got some of these. I hadn't seen these before. Someone tell me if these are new or if I just haven't been out in the world very much. Chocolate truffle. So these are this color right here, and then just some of our kisses so that you can give a kiss for Valentine's. Put that in, sort of tuck it in there, and then take your Velcro dot and have it meet, and then tuck in the, oh, I lost my tiny little heart. Hold on just a sec, gotta put that back on. I think I could have put my heart, this heart, down just a little bit more, and it would have tucked in there just a little bit more. Let's put that guy back on. He doesn't want to stay there. Might need a little bit more glue. Okay, so there he is. I know it's sort of hard to see him there, but that's our project. So let me show you a couple other designs. So here's the same little owl. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's not. This is the same little owl. This is the same little owl, made almost exactly the same, different colors, colored a little bit differently as well. So there's him. This is the flying one. So same paper. These are all made out of the same bits of paper out of the Country Floral. And then let me show you the bunny. So this is the Easter bunny, and it's the stamp set and the punch. But this one doesn't have a punch. This one I cut out, colored just a little bit, and stamped, colored, Wink of Stella on his chest, and then just cut him out myself. So there's a few different ideas for you so that you can get started with some treats for any occasion. And I think that that's it for today. I would like to thank everybody for coming. Please, if this is your first time here, come back again and visit. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about about the projects. Maybe which one you like the best. Which one do you like? The red one, the blue, or the peach one is your favorite. So, okay. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you again, and have a great paper crafting day. Bye-bye.